Hey everybody, hope you're doing great. We're reading the Bible. Jehovah's Witness version. We are on Numbers 22, picking up on verse 12. But God said to Balaam, "You must not go with them. You must not curse the people, for they are blessed." After that, Balaam got up in the morning and said to the prince of Balak, "Go to your country, because Jehovah has refused to let me go with you." So the princes of Moab got up and came to Balak and said, "Balaam has refused to come with us." However, Balak sent again other princes in greater number and more honorable than the former. In turn they came to Balaam and said to him, "This is what Balak the son of Zippor has said. Do not be detained, please, from coming to me, for I shall without fail honor you greatly, and everything you may say to me I shall do. So do come, please, do execrate this people for me." But Balaam answered and said to the servants of Balak, "If Balak were to give me his house full of silver and gold, I should not be able to pass beyond the order of Jehovah my God, so as to do something small or great. And now you men also stay here, please, tonight, that I may know what further Jehovah will speak with me." Then God came to Balaam by night and said to him, "If it is to call you that the men have come, get up, go with them, but only the word that I shall speak to you is what you may speak." After that Balaam got up in the morning and saddled his she-ass and went with the princes of Moab. And the anger of God began to blaze because he was going, and Jehovah's angel proceeded to station himself in the road to resist him. And he was riding upon his she-ass, and two attendants of his were with him. And the ass got to see Jehovah's angel stationed in the road with his drawn sword in his hand. And the ass tried to turn aside from the road that she might go into the field. But Balaam began to strike the ass in order to turn her aside to the road. And Jehovah's angel kept standing in the narrow way between the vineyards, with a stone wall on this side and a stone wall on that side. And the she-ass kept seeing Jehovah's angel and began to squeeze herself against the wall, and so to squeeze Balaam's foot against the wall, and he went beating her some more. Jehovah's angel now passed by again and stood in a narrow place, where there was no way to turn aside to the right or to the left. When the ass got to see Jehovah's angel, she now lay down under Balaam, so that Balaam's anger blazed, and he kept beating the ass with his staff. Finally Jehovah opened the mouth of the ass, and she said to Balaam, "What have I done to you so that you have beaten me these 3 times?" At this Balaam said to the ass, "It is because you have dealt ruthlessly with me. If only there were a sword in my hand." Wow, it's amazing that he's not getting freaked out by a talking donkey, because I would literally think I've gone insane. "Now I should have killed you." Oh, it's mean. Jeez, man. Why are you gonna kill a donkey over that? Then the she-ass said to Balaam, "I am not your she-ass that you have ridden upon all your life long until this day. Have I ever been used to do you this way?" To which he said, "No." That's a good point, when a donkey has more reason than a human, right? And Jehovah proceeded to uncover Balaam's eyes, so that he saw Jehovah's angel stationed in the road with his drawn sword in his hand. At once he bowed low and prostrated himself on his face. Then Jehovah's angel said to him, "Why have you beaten your she-ass these 3 times? Look, I have come out to offer resistance because your way has been headlong against my will." And the she-ass got to see me and tried to turn aside before me these 3 times. Supposing she had not turned aside from before me? For by now even you I should have killed, but her I should have preserved alive. At this Balaam said to Jehovah's angel, "I have sinned, because I did not know that it was you stationed in the road to meet me, and now if it is bad in your eyes, let me go my way back." So this is a good lesson on just, things animals can see. I believe Muslims also contend that animals can see jinns. So in the Bible, a donkey can see angels. But Jehovah's angels said to Balaam, "Go with the men." Oh, and even, okay, now some people who want to be rude will be like, "Oh, and what's so unique about that?" Well, the Wiccans say cats can see them, cats can see spirits. Folklore people will say dogs can see ghosts, right? So, either way, a lot of different religions contend that the eyes of animals can see different dimensional beings, which is pretty cool to think about. But Jehovah's angels said to Balaam, "Go with the men, and nothing but the word that I shall speak to you is what you may speak." And Balaam continued going with the princes of Balak. Okay, that's interesting. Alright, so, the princes of Balak. That's quite interesting. Well, we've learned a lot, fam. I mean, this is really blowing my mind here. I mean, wow. When Balak got to hear that Balaam had come, he at once went out to meet him at the city of Moab, which is on the bank of the Arnon, which is on the extremity of the territory. Then Balak said to Balaam, "Have I not for a fact sent to you to call you? Why did you not come to me? Am I not really and truly able to honor you?" At this Balaam said to Balak, "Here I have come to you. Now shall I be able at all to speak something? The word that God will place in my mouth is what I shall speak." Okay, so it's contending that God's gonna choose his words, essentially. So Balaam went with Balak, and they came to Kiriath Huzoth. And Balak proceeded to sacrifice cattle and sheep, and to send some to Balaam and the princes who were with him. Okay, so another animal sacrifice done by Balak. And it came about in the morning that Balak went taking Balaam and bringing him up to Bathmoth Balal, that he might see from there the whole of the people. Well. Okay, Numbers 23. Then Balaam said to Balak, "Build for me on this spot 7 altars." Okay, 7 altars. "And make ready for me on this spot 7 bulls and 7 rams. Lots of the number 7 here. Balak immediately did just as Balaam had spoken. After that, Balak and Balaam offered up a bull and a ram on each altar. And Balaam went on to say to Balak, "Station yourself but your burnt offering, and let me go. Perhaps Jehovah will get in touch and meet with me. In that case, whatever he will show me, I shall certainly tell you." So he went to a bare hill. Perhaps Jehovah will get in touch with him, speak to him. When God got in touch with Balaam, he then said to him, "I set the 7 altars in rows, and I proceeded to offer up a bull and a ram on each altar." Accordingly, Jehovah put a word in the mouth of Balaam and said, "Return to Balak, and this is what you will speak." So he returned to him, and look, he and the princes of Moab were stationed by his burnt offering. Then he took up his proverbial utterance and said, quote, "From Aram, Balak, the king of Moab, tried to conduct me. From the mountains of the east, do come, do curse Jacob for me. Yes, do come, do denounce Israel. How could I execrate those whom God has not execrated? And how could I denounce those whom Jehovah has not denounced? For from the top of the rocks I see them, and from the hills I behold them. There as a people they keep tabernacling isolated, and among the nations they do not reckon themselves. Who has numbered the dust particles of Jacob, and who has counted the 4th part of Israel? Let my soul die the death of the upright ones, and let my end turn out afterward like theirs." End quote. Ooh, it sounds apocalyptic. At this Balak said to Balaam, "What have you done to me? It was in order to execrate my enemies that I took you, and here you have blessed them to the limit." In turn he answered and said, "It is not whatever Jehovah may put in my mouth that I should take care to speak." Then Balak said to him, "Do come, please, with me to another place from which you can see them. Only the extremity of them you will see, and you will not see all of them, and execrate them for me from there." That is what a what a trippy thing just to happen. It almost sounds like he's just being channeled. So it's like, is there a dispute here between if it was God who told him to talk like that, or he doing it himself? Because there seems to be a little bit of dispute right there. Of like, how can you talk to me like that? Huh.